Good morning. It's March and it's snowing again. But it's supposed to be like 70 degrees, 60 to 70 degrees I guess on Tuesday with thunderstorms, so it's not going to be around too much longer, but I am getting sick of this stuff. Alright, so like I said a little bit ago, I need to get going here. But before I get going, I need to do a shout out. I don't do shout outs much anymore. I don't know why, but I am needing to do that. First shout out goes to Matthew A78. If you guys haven't checked his channel out, please do so. He's building a really nice 56 Chevy wagon. Nice guy. Actually ran into him at Iola last summer. Had a couple beers at his swap spot at a Iola car show. And then he was just down here actually last weekend for the swap meet at Washington County. So we met up there. I told him you need to swing over to the shop, check out the shop since you're so close. So him and his dad and his father-in-law came over and had a beer and talked cars and, you know, enjoyed the morning and into the early afternoon. But like I said, check out his channel. You guys would really like it. Another one you guys need to check out if you haven't already is Phil Lincoln. He's got a 49 International pickup. He's got a 5.7 Hemi in it. Built it himself. Really nice truck. I mean, did an awesome job on it. I mean, he calls it a rat rod, but man, that's borderline hot rod right there in my opinion. But really cool. It's doing some neat projects over there. Go check him out. And for projects, I need to get going here. I got my phone ringing off the hook. I gotta get this stuff done. Might be, well, there's supposed to be something different showing up tomorrow, which I'm kind of excited about. And I will turn you guys on when it shows up. The 52 Pontiac tentatively is sold. The guy's trying to scrape up the money. I've been holding it now for about a week, and I'm gonna hold to my thing. You know, I said I'd hold it for him until he comes up with the money, but I did say if you don't have it by end of the month, I'm putting it back on Craigslist. But I think he's gonna have it for Sunday, so hopefully I can get that out of here. And that's about it. Other than that, it really wasn't a very productive week in the shop. As usual, work is keeping me working and keeping me away from my fun. So I need to get going, need to get this exhaust done. This is leftover pieces from the El Camino, and that's what I'm going to use on the 54. So bring you back when something exciting happens, but until then, later. Alright, so I know I've been slacking. I think I was going to tell another story about the old El Camino. I kind of been putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. And I think it was either Cutworm or Stove Bolt 50 or somebody's like, hey, you gotta make a story, man. I want to hear more stories. So I thought about it. Had to find one that was appropriate. But back in 03-ish, I was working for a place. And he did diesel performance and all that stuff and pickups. And one of the employees there had I think it was a 2000 or 01 Ford F350 7.3, all built up. That particular day, he just got done, you know, putting on, it's like a bigger exhaust and a bigger tuner and this and that and da 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 da. And we were on our way to lunch, and at the time I had the El Camino there. Had the big block in it at that time. So my buddy Scott and I, another employee, and actually a good friend now, he jumped in my car and off we went to Wendy's. And the road we went down had, you know, a million stoplights on it. And Andy, who was driving the truck, his truck, you know, he was behind us a little ways. Well, eventually caught up to us at a stoplight, you know, and okay, you know, light turned green and we both take off. And I wasn't, you know, getting on it, but I was, you know, getting on it. He was too. But just blew his doors off. Of course, the next light comes up. It turns yellow, and alright, we gotta stop. Light turns red, you know, we stop. We're still, you know, lined up now at the next light. and I looked over at Andy, and you can see he's a little bit mad. So I kind of looked at Scott. I go, well, hang on. So I ratchet shifted it down to first gear, and light turned green, and off we go again. And I probably had him by a good car length before the next light turned yellow, and we had to stop again. So, and in the mirror, you can see that the diesel pickup was just billowing black smoke. So, he was working it. Now we're at the third light, and I looked at Andy, and he is just pissed. Because I always made fun, my car is basically stock. The big black was just built, basically stock. I built it more for torque than, all-out racing. It's got a 273 gear in it, open differential, still has that in it. Turbo 400. Yeah, it's got a ratchet shifter in it, and the suspension's a little bit beefy, but it's basically just a nothing of a car. And I always would tell him that, and now he's just, you could look over there and he's just pissed. Scott, he's sitting in the passenger side, he's just giggling like a kid going to a chair, and he's just like, now what? I go, I don't know, but he's going to really try everything he's got to beat us now. So I go, you're going to really have to hang on, because we're going to let it all hang out this time. And actually, the particular light that we're waiting on is the light that crossed over the bridge, over the freeway. So it was a little bit longer stretch, but it had a big crown in the bridge when you crest the bridge and then come down the other side. So I ratcheted it down into first gear, and I actually stalled it up a little bit, just before the back tires started spinning. And we're waiting for it, and I can hear him. He had that diesel just pegged tight to that converter. I'm sure he had it in four-wheel drive, too. Light turned green, and it was just a haze. He actually beat me off the line, baby, by, the first 20, 30 feet. And by the time the old big black wound out, he had no chance. I didn't even look at the tack. I was just, running it right up tight. Slammed it into second, and actually the back end did a little bit of a wiggle. Tire broke loose, she grabbed, I let up a little bit, got a little bit of traction, and then stood right back in her again, and then wound her right up tight again and slammed into third. By this time we're cresting the bridge, and of course we're coming down the other side, and light turns yellow. Gotta stop. I didn't have him by a lot. Probably, I think he never really got past my, I'd say, passenger door, but he could not catch me. Of course, like I said, light turned yellow, had to stop, while bringing this girl to a stop again at high speed. And the front brakes, I did convert to disc brakes, thank God. But I pretty much smoked those pads. We got to that stoplight and the smoke just billowing off the front wheels. It's like, yeah, we're done. Pedal got a little soft there. The next stoplight was actually where we were going, was Wendy's. So, I just kind of said, we're done. And I looked over at Andy, and he is beat red, cussing and swearing. So we pull into the Wendy's parking lot. I parked the car, went and just checked my rotors. They had a nice purple haze to them. He gets out his truck, and the first thing out of his mouth was, I won't use the actual word, but, that car isn't stock, you lying son of a bitch. You must have nitrous, you must have this, And I just started giggling. I go, dude, there is nothing on this car that wasn't probably produced since 1972. I go, it's all original. Bullshit. And he just cussing and swearing. He actually wouldn't even eat with us. Yes, he sat at a different table, and we get back to work, and he's still cranky as all heck. One of the owners comes out and he goes, what happened? And I told him the story, and he started giggling. But yeah, every time I see Scott, or he always remembers that. He goes, yeah, I remember we were racing, that truck, and you just blew his doors off. It's like, yeah, I know, good old El Camino. So that was one of my cool stories, I guess, that I figured I'd share. I mean, there is a possibility I might have a big block in line for this, so you might just have to wait, but probably not too long. Big block might be coming here. So if that's the case, I'm pretty certain it's going back in this car. This car needs a big block. Small block's fun, but a big block would be just so much more funner. So that's it. Talk to you guys later.